Iran's supreme leader is dead.
The United States military began major combat operations in Iran.
Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the man who ruled the Islamic Republic with an iron fist for 36 years, was killed today in Israeli airstrikes on his compound in Tehran. The White House has confirmed it. 4 Israeli security officials have confirmed it. And celebrations broke out on the streets of Tehran itself. Iran is not done. Dozens of ballistic missiles are already raining down on U.S. military bases across 6 countries in the region. And now, the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway that carries a third of the world's seaborne oil, has been declared closed. This map tells the full story. Every strike, every target, every country being pulled into this. Welcome to the Map Mysteries. Let's decode this. This didn't start this morning, not even close. To understand today, you need to go back to October 7th, 2023, when Hamas attacked Israel. What followed was a grinding, region-wide conflict that systematically dismantled Iran's network of proxies. Hamas was battered in Gaza. Hezbollah was crippled in Lebanon. The Houthis in Yemen were pushed back. Iran watched its regional power structure, built over decades, start to collapse. Then came June 2025. Israel launched a major air campaign against Iran's nuclear and military sites. 8 days later, the U.S. joined in, striking Natanz, Fordo, and Isfahan. A ceasefire ended the fighting, but the deeper war wasn't over. Iran began rebuilding. By late 2025, something else was happening inside Iran. Economic collapse, the rial in freefall, nationwide protests erupting, the largest since the 1979 revolution, spreading to over 100 cities. The regime's response? Massacres. Thousands of protesters were killed in January 2026 alone. Meanwhile, U.S.-Iran nuclear talks were quietly continuing. In Geneva, mediated by Oman. Just 2 days before today's strikes, Oman's foreign minister said peace was within reach. Then, on February 28th, that all fell apart. Israel had intelligence that Iran was accelerating its ballistic missile program and continuing to advance its nuclear capabilities. The IAEA's own director had recently warned that most of Iran's enriched uranium had survived the 2025 strikes. The window to act, Israeli officials decided, was now. February 28th, Saturday morning. In Iran, Saturday is a regular workday. Millions of people were heading to the office, dropping kids at school. At roughly 6:30 a.m. local time, the Israeli Air Force launched what it would call Operation Genesis, the largest combat sortie in Israeli military history. More than 200 fighter jets, 5 waves of airstrikes, around 500 military targets across western and central Iran, air defense systems, missile launchers, command centers, intelligence facilities. The strikes hit Tehran's government quarter hard. The compound of Supreme Leader Khamenei was struck directly. Satellite images confirm it was destroyed. Also killed in those opening strikes: the IRGC commander, Iran's defense minister, the secretary of the Supreme National Security Council, and the head of Khamenei's military bureau. Israel says it targeted 30 senior leaders in those initial strikes alone. The U.S. joined in separately. Attack aircraft from carriers and regional bases carried out dozens of additional strikes targeting ballistic missile infrastructure and Iran's naval assets. Iranian state media, citing the Red Crescent, reported at least 201 people killed and more than 700 injured across Iran. Among the most devastating, an Israeli strike on a girls' elementary school in the city of Minab in southern Iran. Local officials there say at least 51 people were killed. The IDF had issued warnings to civilians to evacuate areas near military infrastructure. But for those near Minab, those warnings came too late, or didn't come at all. Trump addressed the Iranian people directly.
Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight.
Netanyahu echoed that call for regime change, and in the streets of Tehran, Shiraz, Isfahan, and Karaj, there were celebrations, fireworks, people honking horns. Iranians who had been brutalized by this regime for decades, reacting to news that the man who ordered those brutal crackdowns was gone. But here's what you need to understand about Iran's military doctrine. They planned for this, they pre-positioned, and within hours, they struck back, simultaneously across the entire region. For the first time ever, Iran launched coordinated attacks against all U.S. military facilities in the Gulf at the same time. Bahrain, Iranian missiles and drones struck the headquarters of the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet in Manama. Thick black smoke rose over the base. Drone strikes hit residential towers near the base, setting buildings ablaze. Qatar, Al Udeid Air Base, the largest U.S. military facility in the entire region, was targeted. Qatar's defenses intercepted the missiles, but explosions echoed over central Doha. Tens of thousands of U.S. troops are stationed there. Kuwait, Ali Al Salem Air Base came under ballistic missile attack. Kuwait's air defenses intercepted all of them, but a separate drone struck Kuwait International Airport, injuring airport workers and damaging the passenger terminal. UAE, both Abu Dhabi and Dubai were hit. A Pakistani civilian was killed in Abu Dhabi when debris from an intercepted missile fell into residential neighborhoods. A building on Dubai's Palm Jumeirah caught fire, injuring 4 people. Jordan's Air Force shot down 2 ballistic missiles over its territory, but the ground beneath Muwafaq Salti Air Base, where the U.S. had pre-positioned aircraft for these very strikes, still shook. Syria and Saudi Arabia, also targeted. Riyadh heard explosions. Erbil in northern Iraq saw a drone attack on its international airport. Iran's IRGC declared it was targeting 14 U.S. military sites. U.S. Central Command stated it suffered no casualties and that the damage to its facilities was light and did not disrupt operations. But the scale of this, every Gulf nation targeted simultaneously, is something the region has never seen before. Now, here is where the map gets truly frightening for the global economy. This strait, 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, it sits between Iran's coastline and the tip of Oman. And according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, roughly a third of all the world's seaborne oil exports pass through here. That's around 21 million barrels every single day. Shortly after Iran's retaliatory strikes began, the UK Maritime Trade Operations Agency reported that vessels in the Gulf had received radio messages indicating the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian warships are repositioning. If this blockade holds, even for days, oil prices could surge dramatically. Every country in Asia that relies on Gulf crude, every European nation importing LNG from Qatar, their energy security is suddenly in play. One tanker struck in that strait doesn't just make the news, it reshapes the global economy. The situation is still developing. Oman, the one Gulf country Iran did not target today, has called for an immediate ceasefire. They've played the peacemaker role before. Whether they can do it again, right now, is an open question. The world is reacting in real time. The UN Security Council held an emergency session today. Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemned both the U.S.-Israeli strikes and Iran's retaliatory attacks on neighboring states, warning that the use of force undermines international peace and security. France's Emmanuel Macron called the situation dangerous for all and said it must stop. The EU's foreign policy chief called an emergency meeting of foreign ministers for Sunday. Russia condemned the strikes as particularly reprehensible, especially given that they came just 2 days after nuclear talks. Inside Iran, a constitutional succession crisis is now underway. Under Iran's constitution, the 88-member Assembly of Experts must select a new supreme leader. But Israel says its opening strikes killed 7 senior officials and targeted 30 top leaders. The man who has emerged as the most senior surviving civilian figure is Ali Larijani, former parliament speaker, close Khamenei confidant. He posted on social media vowing that Iran would deliver an unforgettable lesson. But here is the other side of this story. On the streets of Tehran, Karaj, Isfahan, and Shiraz, the people who have lived under this regime, who watched their children shot in the streets during the January protests, they are celebrating. Whether that turns into a genuine popular uprising, or whether the IRGC clamps down with brutal force once again, is the question that defines what comes next. Trump has promised bombing will continue uninterrupted until his objectives are met. Netanyahu says the campaign will last until the Iranian people are free. Iran says it will fight back until the enemy is defeated. This map is being redrawn, right now, on this day. Here is where things stand as of right now. The supreme leader of Iran is dead. The Israeli Air Force carried out the largest strike operation in its history. U.S. forces struck from sea and air. Iran has retaliated against every Gulf state hosting American troops, simultaneously, for the first time. At least 1 civilian has been killed in the UAE. Dozens of ballistic missiles were intercepted, but the damage is real and still being counted. And the Strait of Hormuz, the world's most critical oil passage, hangs in the balance. This is the most significant shift in Middle East history since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. Maybe further back than that. This channel exists for moments like this. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell, because every hour this map changes. I'll be covering every major update as it comes in. Drop your prediction in the comments. What comes next? Does the IRGC hold together without Khamenei? Does Iran escalate or seek an off-ramp? And who, if anyone, can mediate now? Stay safe, everyone. This story is only just beginning.